in the polished marble lobby of the upscale Evergreen Lodge. My brother stared me down with that familiar mix of pity and superiority. His voice low but cutting like a knife through butter. "Look, Ethan. This place is out of your league. Rooms start at $2,000 a night. Stick to the motel down the road. No shame in knowing your limits." He had no clue. Not even a whisper of suspicion. That I owned every inch of this sprawling retreat in the heart of California's wine country. That single moment, laced with irony so thick it could choke you, was the culmination of 8 long years of biting my tongue, swallowing the slights, and forging my path in the shadows while my family paraded my brother's every minor win like it was the Super Bowl. 8 years of them assuming I was scraping by, when in reality, I was stacking empires. And yeah, I let them believe it. Because there's a twisted freedom in being the underdog nobody bets on. No one comes knocking for handouts. No one piles on expectations. No one tries to ride your coattails. You grind in quiet. Build your fortress brick by unseen brick. Until the walls come crashing down on their illusions in the most devastating reveal imaginable. Let me pull you back to the roots of this mess, where the seeds of resentment first took hold. I was the younger one by 2 years, always trailing in Ryan's wake like an afterthought. From day one, I was the difficult kid, not because I caused trouble, but because I didn't fit the mold they worshipped. Ryan was the golden boy, slept like an angel as a baby, aced every little league game, charmed the socks-off teachers and neighbors. Me? I was the night owl who dismantled old clocks in the basement instead of tossing a football. Ryan was such a breeze, Mom would say at every Thanksgiving table, every backyard barbecue. Her laugh light but loaded. Then came Ethan. And we kissed sleep goodbye. It was their go-to punchline. Repeated until it etched itself into my skin like a tattoo I never asked for. By the time we hit our teens, it was crystal clear. Ryan was the star, and I was the supporting act at best, the footnote at worst. High school amplified it all. Ryan captained the soccer team, dated the homecoming queen, and had colleges scouting him left and right. I buried myself in books on real estate and business models, tinkering with investment apps on my beat-up laptop. "You're majoring in what?" Dad barked when I announced my choice. Real estate development with a focus on commercial properties. His face twisted like I'd just confessed to dropping out for clown college. "You gonna flip houses or something? That's blue-collar stuff." "Ethan." Ryan's heading to Stanford on scholarship, finance track. Wall Street bound. I ended up at a solid state school in Oregon, paying my way with part-time gigs at local motels, learning the ropes from the ground up, checking in guests at midnight, scrubbing toilets when the janitor called out, forecasting occupancy like it was a puzzle I had to solve. It wasn't glamorous, but it lit a fire in me, the way properties could be more than bricks and mortar. How the right tweaks could turn a sinking ship into a cash cow. Ryan graduated with honors, landed a gig at a top investment firm in New York, pulling 6 figures straight out the gate. He showed up at family reunions in tailored suits, regaling everyone with tales of closing deals over steak dinners at spots I'd only read about in Forbes. "Ethan's still slinging keys at some motel chain," he'd joke, slapping my back a little too hard. "Living the dream. Right, bro?" I smiled through it, never letting on that those motel shifts were teaching me revenue streams, guest psychology, and market gaps that would become my secret weapons. After college, I hustled into an entry-level role managing a rundown strip mall in Portland, $42,000 a year. 70-hour weeks. Eating ramen to stash every penny. Ryan, meanwhile, proposed to Sophia, a high-powered attorney from a family that traced its roots to the founding fathers, complete with trust funds and Hampton summers. Their engagement bash was at a yacht club, champagne flowing like water, while I showed up in my off-the-rack blazer, feeling the eyes appraising me like yesterday's news. Sophia's dad, Reginald, gripped my hand like he was testing my mettle. Real estate. Huh? Ryan says you're a property manager. Good honest work. Builds grit. His tone dripped with that condescending nod. The kind that says, you're the help, not the host. I nodded, biting back the urge to spill that I was already scouting my first buy, a failing strip mall on the outskirts with prime redevelopment potential. Over the next 4 years, I climbed from manager to regional overseer, hopping cities from Portland to Seattle. Salary crept to $72,000. But I lived like a monk, tiny apartment, second-hand Honda, funneling surplus into high-yield accounts and calculated risks. At 28, I pulled the trigger on that first property, a distressed commercial plaza in Boise, teetering on bankruptcy. Sank my life savings, $95,000, plus a loan that gnawed at my guts. Turned it around in 18 months, revamped tenants, boosted foot traffic, sold for a 250% return. Family? They thought I was still clocking in for chump change, grinding in obscurity. I didn't disabuse them. The silence was my shield. By 31, I'd snagged 2 more. A boutique office complex in Denver and a mixed-use building in Austin. My firm, Apex Properties LLC, was born quiet, efficient, with a skeleton crew of 28. Net worth hit $18 million, all in assets and equity. But to my folks, I was the perpetual underachiever, the one who managed buildings while Ryan ascended to partner at his firm, raking in bonuses that could buy small islands. They bought a McMansion in Connecticut, hosted brunches where Ryan's promotions were toasted endlessly. I showed up when summoned, enduring the side glances, the how's the job hunt going, jabs that stung like paper cuts accumulating into wounds. Then came the wedding announcement, Ryan and Sophia tying the knot at a lavish weekend affair at the Evergreen Lodge, a historic gem in Napa Valley. 180 guests. Black tie opulence. I'd bought the place 2 years prior for $7.8 million, a faded icon mismanaged into the red. Poured in $2.9 million for upgrades, restored vineyards, spa expansions, gourmet kitchens. Now it hummed at 92% occupancy. Rooms fetching $1,600 nightly. The wedding planner dealt with my ops team. No one connected the dots to me. I RSVP'd. A quiet thrill building in my chest like storm clouds gathering. A month out. Mom rang. Her voice laced with that faux concern. Ethan. Honey. About the accommodations, the lodge is steep. Over $1,800 a night with all the fees. We're talking $5,500 for the weekend. Be practical. There's a decent inn off the highway for $120. Fits your budget better. I leaned back in my Seattle headquarters, eyeing dashboards flashing 28% YY growth across my portfolio. Sure, Mom. The Valiant it is. She sighed in relief. Good boy. Ryan felt awful suggesting it. But the lodge is their dream venue. Their dream, my reality. 2 weeks before, Ryan called, his tone dripping sympathy. Bro, heard about the in-switch. Smart move. The lodge is next-level valet. Michelin star dining. The works. Dress code strict. Entrees run $90. Maybe grab eats at your spot to avoid sticker shock. And if the pre-events feel too spendy, skip no judgment. I gripped the phone, picturing his smug grin. Thanks for the tip. Ryan. Hung up. Texted my GM at Evergreen. Marcus, attending the Hayes wedding. Keep ownership under wraps. Checking into Valley and under my name. Flag any issues with the party. Wedding weekend hit. I cruised past the lodge in my understated Audi A6, solid but unassuming, admiring the manicured drives, the solar-lit paths I'd greenlit. Pulled into the Valley Inn, cracked asphalt, musty rooms, Wi-Fi that crawled. Unpacked my suit. Fielded emails on acquisitions while the AC wheezed. Friday's welcome cocktail was at the lodge. I parked among Porsches and Range Rovers. Stepped into the foyer I'd redesigned, vaulted ceilings, artisanal rugs, ambient jazz. Ryan and Sophia mingled by the bar. Outfits screaming wealth. "Ethan, you made it," Ryan boomed, pulling me in. "This place is insane. Our suite's got a vineyard view. Jacuzzi. Worth the splurge." "Looks great," I said. "How's the inn?" Like asking about a bad date. "Cozy enough." He nodded. Pitying. "Hey. Open bar, knock yourself out." We dropped $75K on the package. Family swarmed, parents, relatives, all in designer threads, swapping stories of stock tips and vacations. Reginald cornered me with a scotch. "Still in property management?" "Ryan says you're in Seattle now, steady gig." "Something like that." He chuckled. "World needs folks like you to keep the lights on." Not all of us can be deal makers. Dinner unfolded, courses I'd vetted, seared scallops, aged ribeye, flawless execution by my chefs. I sat at a peripheral table, observing the hierarchy, power players up front, me in the shadows. Post-dinner. On the terrace. Mom sidled up. Wine flushed. "Having fun?" "Imagine affording this regularly. Ryan and Sophia are so lucky." I owned it all. "It's nice. Someday. If you hustle. Maybe manage a spot like this." Her pat on my arm burned. Phone buzzed. Marcus. Hayes party lodging complaints. AC settings. Bar tabs. Pool access. Escalating demands. Document. I replied. Uphold standards. Saturday's vows were picture perfect. Vineyard backdrop. Floral arches I'd budgeted $18,000 for. I sat rear row. Invisible. Reception in the Grand Hall, $1.1 million Reno under my watch. Crystal fixtures. Panoramic views. At 7:45. Stir at the head table. Ryan gesturing at a waiter. Mom joining. Reginald barking. Waiter fled. Marcus appeared with security. Words flew heated. Pointed. Then Marcus nodded my way. Head swiveled. Music halted. Guests gawked as Marcus crossed to me. "Mr. Hayes, sorry. Mr. Cole," he said, using my alias briefly before correcting. "No. Full owner mode. Mr. Cole. The Hayes party demands owner intervention on service issues." I rose. Heart pounding but steady. "What's the issue?" "Marcus. Complaints on room temps. Amenity fees. Valet priority. Spa slots. Checkout rules. Demanding refunds. Upgrades. Fee waivers." Ryan stormed over. Red-faced. "Ethan? Why is he talking to you?" "Mr. Hayes has policy questions," Marcus intoned. "No. I want the owner." Ryan snapped. "We've shelled out $112,000. This staff's rigid on basics." "Marcus, you are speaking to the owner." "Mr. Ethan Cole owns Evergreen Lodge." The hall froze. Ryan blinked. "Not funny. Not a joke," I said. "Bought it 2 years back." Marcus reports to me. Mom gasped. "Ethan." "What?" "I own it. Mom." And 5 other commercial sites via Apex Properties, 26 staff. $27 million revenue. Sophia teared up. Reginald blanched. "This valuation's $12.3 million. Paid $7.8. Invested $2.9. Whispers erupted. Ryan paled. "You've owned multi-million-dollar assets, while you assumed I flipped burgers." Marcus, on the demands? I faced Ryan. Itemized, amenity fees standard. Disclosed. Late checkout? 93% booked, can't delay turns. But $112,000 wedding. Covers venue. Food. Basics, not incidentals. Industry norm. Sophia sobbed. Charging family extras? Enforcing fairness for every guest. Reginald, you let us think you were nothing. You assumed. Never asked beyond surface. Ryan's voice cracked. 8 years. Building this. And we dismissed you. You weren't curious. Easier to keep me small. Marcus, approve waivers? No. Charges stand. Standard checkout. Mom pleaded, we're family. Family that parked me at a Fleabag Inn. Advised climbing while I owned the ladder. You preferred your narrative. Dad teared, we didn't know. Didn't care to. Ryan slumped. Your worth. Private, around $18 million in equity. Echoes rippled. Marcus excused himself. Crowd murmured. Mom, talk privately? Nothing hidden now. Want real ties? Base it on truth. Not fiction. I grabbed my keys. Enjoy dessert, my menu approval. Ryan called, Ethan. I paused. He approached. Sorry for blinding myself. Belittling. Can we fix? Maybe. Call next week. Ask real questions. No over money, just know me. I left. Drove to the inn. Packed. Texted Marcus, sweet now. Penthouse awaited, 1,500 square feet. Valley views. Stocked bar. I sipped aged whiskey on the balcony. Overlooking the lights, my family below. Reeling. Text poured, Ryan's apologies. Mom's pleas. Dad's pride belated. I read. Silent. Morning. Marcus delivered breakfast. Hayes checked out on time. Paid up. Good. Ryan queried my room, denied. I drove home to Seattle. Back to deals. Monday. Ryan called. Tell me about your empire, for real. We talked raw. Probing. Scars lingered. But a crack opened. I'd built without them. Proven my worth to myself. That quiet victory? Priceless. Even if it cost the illusions we all clung to,